Good evening and welcome to the August 16th, 2018 meeting of the Newmarket Conservation Commission. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sue, will you please do the roll call?
Chris Blackstone. Here. Anne Fortune.
Here.
Patrick Reynolds.
Here.
Sarah Finch.
Here.
Casey Finch.
Here. All right, thank you. I do not see any members of the public here tonight for public comments, so we will go right to approval of the minutes from our last meeting on July 12th. Does anyone have any edits or questions on minutes from July 12th? The corrections were already made. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes from July 12th?
Motion to approve the minutes.
I will second that motion. All in favor? I do not have a treasurer's report unless you've got it
No,
already.
there's no July financial reports because they're doing a new software implementation and audit.
Okay.
So she wasn't able to get in July.
We didn't have any outgoing expenses that I'm aware
I'm
of.
not aware of any.
Yeah, yeah,
Just be your
yeah. Okay. On to committee and subcommittee. Town council.
Not too much to report with town council. Summer, we dropped down to one meeting per month, so really our next meeting is going to be next Wednesday, and then when September starts, there should be some more information coming out. But last meeting was just Wi-Fi upgrade, a server upgrade. That was about it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Sarah, planning board, any?
Not much. We accepted an application for a boundary line adjustment. It was requested by the Rockingham Golf Course. It impacted 2 home sites in that new development. That was the only item.
Okay. Well, Shopmire Park had a grand opening, and I believe some of you, I know Casey and Sarah were there, and Ann was there, that's right. It was a big success, and Casey spoke. I thought he did a great job
Yes, it did.
representing kind of all of us, and I just thought it was a really great event. It was kind of long, but it was very informative, and
It was nice.
it was nice, and I'm excited for the future of the park.
It was nice to see so many people there too.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing reason I put it on there too is that I know 2 things. One, we still need to have a representative on there. I'm perfectly happy to do that and step in and do that. They asked that we have a representative. They came to me at that event and said, we need to have a representative on there.
So is this ongoing, like forever?
They feel like they're going to be ongoing for a little bit longer because, one, they still haven't drafted a management plan, which is one of the things that they wanted to do. So that will have to happen. And I think there'll be hopefully it won't be a long period, but some transition period once that management plan is done. I think maybe in another 6 months to a year, I don't know. So I will volunteer to fill that spot. And other than that, like I said, that's kind of the next step is that management plan. I know that the town is interested in being actively part of the management of that, which I'm sort of the responsible party for managing the easement, I believe. So once we have the management plan, we'll have that in place, and then I think that might be the time where we would talk with the town about what their role in sort of helping to execute that management plan would be.
Yeah, and then for background, that our town administrator kind of mentioned with Schottmeyer Park and potentially with Shenandoah Park, maybe coordinating with conservation to see if the town can provide more support with management plans, especially with Shenandoah Park, any repairs or mitigation, if there's some agreement that the town and the commission can come to, just so the town can provide more assistance, I guess.
So towards that end, here's what I guess maybe what I would ask, if you could report this back to them. I would agree with that. I think they should be involved, and I think that I would like to see a subcommittee or some group formed that would include both people from the town council and some people from conservation, and maybe just people from the public, to look at what should be done to mitigate some of the problems that are happening down there with the stone walls, falling in, and because it is going to be a big investment to fix that, and there's also just the issue of, are we just fixing it temporarily and then it's going to fall back into this new state, or is there some other level of work that we could do and sort of make it better, more long-term? I'm just concerned that we fix those stones short-term, but because the flooding is continuously happening, that doesn't really address the problem. And the other group, Chris, that I would look to see if they would have any ideas would be the Lamprey River, because LRAC, because they have a good understanding of what we can and can't do down there.
Yeah.
And they also have have been supportive of the things that we've done there in the past. They helped put up the signage that we have down there. They have provided support for the kayaks that we have down there. They have done various things, and I would like to hear maybe what their opinion is on this as well, because I don't know. I know it's with Shoreline Protection Act, it's pretty restrictive about what you can and can't do down there. But what we're looking at is an area that, because of the high tides, it's starting to have an effect, and also just Moonlight Brook gets those severe rains that we've been having. As you
They're
guys,
telling us they're coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also has an effect on the park, because it's literally carrying the soil of the park away into the river.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I would feel might be someone we could consult to find out what can we do as far as mitigation to prevent that, or the rules that we're under.
I'll put that on my list of things to bring up at our September meeting.
I appreciate that. So if you could report back what you find out about that.
Yes, I will.
Because again, I think some of the people there, especially Dick Lord, are very familiar with Shenandoah Park, and they kind of understand what it looks like down there right now. So
There are resources, and they know resources from the towns that are also grappling with the flooding. So.
yeah.
And the process for making a subcommittee is pretty straightforward and pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's what happened with the water one. So I can reach out about that. Now, should that be specific to Shonda Park, or should, if we have like an overarching one to maybe look at some cooperation with Shonda and Schottmeyer?
I would be fine if you guys want to extend it out to that. That's fine. I feel like the reason Steve might be coming to us is he's probably concerned. I mean, he's probably like, when are we going to take some action down there? And I understand that, because that's his responsibility to look out for the town's liability. And we've got some temporary fences down there, but that's not a permanent fix. And he knows that a lot of people go down there. We've got 2 requests for permits right now to use Shenandoah Park. So.
Okay. Well, I'll kick it to the town council and see, but if you're flexible with having a more general one to look. And the reason I mentioned that is that some of the goals that have been discussed, and they're not finalized yet, was to kind of look at the core of town, which I would argue would encompass both of these parks. And there was a discussion about part of that would be walkability in town, but also a waterfront plan that would connect with the dam, which is coming up too. So I think if we can kind of get these things all on the same page, because whatever happens to the dam could impact the waterfront. So I'll mention the idea of forming a subcommittee to look at that. It's
Okay.
kind of a pressing issue. So.
Great, thank you. So I really don't have, the only things that I have for the chairman's report is just, this is actually some information about stormwater. So I'll pass that along because we recently worked on the stormwater plan here, but it's obviously a huge issue up here. And then some shoreline impact permits for 7 Bayview Drive in Newmarket here. This has been, this is an approval for that project that we saw a while ago. And the other thing, which is good news, is that we do have an application for appointment to Conservation Commission, and that will be reviewed at the next town council meeting next week, so that would be good. So I'll wait until we have an official announcement on that, but I expect that that person's application will be approved. So that's all I have under that. Old business, really, we're still waiting on the Dearborn property survey, and I'm almost at the point where I want to either put it back out to bid or find a new surveyor, because we're not getting anywhere with this current person, and we had 2 other parties originally, which I might ask Sue to go back and look somewhere in the minutes, but I am assuming one of them might have been Doucette and the other one would have been, I don't remember, but I almost want to come back to those guys and just, I want to get this done before the end of the year, and it's probably a little bit easier.
I'll email you.
Thank you, Sue. So hopefully we might be able to even have that up for another vote and getting that approved next month. Aaron Point, any updates on the gate?
Yeah, I mean, ground has not been broken yet, but the most recent update was our facilities director did all the measurements early last week, ordered the supplies that we need, and really what we're waiting on right now is the electrical stuff to get put in. And once that gets put in, the electrical would probably take about a day of work, and the gate might take 2 more. So until the electrical meters and everything gets put in, we're kind of waiting, but I don't foresee it being a super long time to get that stuff in. But once I know a hard date, I'll certainly report back on that. But parts have been ordered, measurements have been taken, and we're just waiting on that electrical to put in. The only other thing I'll mention though is I've kind of cruised by to just kind of look at it. We have a nice new sign in the turn.
Yep.
But the sign that's at the gate is, it could use some either repair or probably replacement. I took some pictures I can show you guys. It's just doesn't look good. It's covered with moss. It's starting to, it looks like it's a particle board with the sign on the front, and the sign's starting to peel off of it. So I would say that one might be nice to potentially get new signage for that if we're doing the gate thing, just to kind of welcome people back to the park.
Okay.
But I can show you the picture of that.
Yeah, I can, follow up with our, I think, trying to think of Mike's last name, our town compliance officer. Mike Hoffman.
Building.
Yeah,
Building,
yes, yeah. Well, he covers all kinds of things.
Yes.
So,
So you can see it's
Mike
pretty.
Hoffman covers a lot of different things, but he actually was the one that got those, that other sign. So
Okay.
I would want to replicate what we have outside.
Blue one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a great job with the town dock signs.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but I can show you can see it's even peeling
That's
off.
just Debbie's
That's-
peeling.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it doesn't really, the blue is nice.
It's not going to go well with the new paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can, I actually have a call into him about something else, so I can, I'll mention that to him and see if we could get a bid for that same kind of sign that we already have. I mean, he made so many of them, I'm sure he's got it all figured out pretty easily, because we've been putting them up all over
Yeah.
town, really. So,
Well, and it looked like, the blue sign looks great turning in, you know, it's just, it catches your eye, it's really beautiful, it's got the town logo. And then here it looks like what the stopgap was there was a metal green sign that said Heron Point this way, so like there's two signs there, which is kind of obnoxious to begin with, so
Mhm.
if we could potentially replace that with one good-looking sign. So I thought I'd mention that.
yeah, no, that's a good one. I will follow up with him about that. And we already talked actually about the Shopmire Park Management Plan. I have 2 requests for Shanda Park, though, that I wanted to bring to the commission. One is for a private party. It's on Saturday, October 6th. It is a wedding, and I will pass it along. They're looking to have it from 1:45 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. with 50 people invited.
145
2:30.
2:30.
So I think
Yeah,
it's just
just
a
a ceremony.
ceremony, and I think then they have the reception at the Legion. I think that's what that says. It's a little bit hard to rate. And then the second one, I haven't gotten here's actually another copy of that same one. It's a little bit better. So.
For 45 minutes, and if it rains, it'll be at the Legion instead.
They're going to go to the Legion.
Yeah, if it rains, they're gonna go. And then, so there's that, so I suppose we can consider that one first.
Can you actually guarantee a private party?
I meant it in terms of it's a private group, it's not like a public group. No, I don't think we
People
can,
can still use the car.
people can still use it, but, so we're just allowing them to use it for this. So I will make a motion to approve this permit by Candace Janos, and if I say your name wrong, I apologize, on October 6th from 1:45 to 2:30 p.m. for a wedding ceremony at Shanda Park.
Okay, second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the second request, which I don't have an application on, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up anyway, and I've asked them to come in and bring an application, is coming up, and I didn't want to postpone it to the next meeting. It's from the Newmarket Community Church, and it's for a lobster bake, a community lobster bake in Shanda Park. And it will be on Sunday, September 16th, from 11:15 a.m. to 1 p.m. And again, if they have bad weather, they would move to the church. And I have requested that they fill out the normal application. And they, of course, said we'll have everything, we'll do our own cleanup. So I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the community church request to use the Shanda Park from 11:15, sorry, to 1 p.m. on September 16th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And, oh, I do want to say one thing, pending their submitting a formal application.
Oh, good point, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously if we don't have the application on file, we do need to have that, so. So now, the only other thing that I have on the agenda is to look at, just to go ahead and finalize when we will meet next month, just to make sure I have that on everyone's calendar correctly. So what I would suggest is that would be the 13th of September.
Is that the second Thursday?
No, it's not. Let me look.
That is the second Thursday.
It is the
The
second
first one's the
Thursday.
9th, yeah.
Yeah, it is the second Thursday, sorry.
So the 16th of September.
No, 13th.
13th, Thursday the
Oh,
13th.
why not in September? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's already, well, it's reserved anyway.
Yep,
Okay, so, yep.
yep, the 13th has to be the second. Okay? And I did just hear from Mary Ann that I had an email from her that she couldn't make it, so. All right, anything else? Anyone have any other items? Issues?
You'll go ahead and look through the, we talked about it only briefly when we did not yet convene, is the meeting about the November 3rd Conservation Commission Conference.
Yes, so it's Friday, actually, I think it's Friday,
second.
November 2nd.
Okay, yep.
And I think we should talk about it at the next meeting. If there
Okay.
are people interested in attending, I will try and find out. If I know we get a discounted ticket to go, but I want to just find out more exactly
Yeah.
like how much it costs, because I think it would be appropriate. And I will again look at Sue to see if she can recall if we paid for people to go to that in the past.
I believe we have,
Yeah,
and it would be in treasurer's notes from
okay.
a year ago in November, this book doesn't.
If you just Google New Hampshire Conservation Commission Association, I think, you will be able to find the meeting, and they should have some of the classes if you're interested in going. It is a weekday event, so if that's a problem. But then I believe it's in Concord, is that somewhere?
I don't remember if it was Concord or Church's Landing in Meredith, but it's not on the seacoast.
Yeah, it's not on the seacoast. You might be right. It might be somewhere up in the Lakes region.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they do have some outdoor things that they do there. Yeah. So take a look if you're interested. It is a good opportunity to take some workshops and learn about different things that affect conservation commissions, and just do some networking and talk to other people about issues in their towns, stuff like that. So it's a good opportunity. I would encourage. I don't really want to limit people from going, because I do think we have a lot of new members who could benefit from going. So.
Our $363 a year dues, which we paid for FY 2018, include discounted rate at the annual conference, which was last year held November 4th.
Yeah.
Representation in state legislature on statewide commissions to make sure your voice is heard. Access to technical assistance and guidance on conservation funding, natural resource inventory, and many other issues. Educational opportunities focused on wetland permit review, conservation planning, and wildlife habitat protection. Networking opportunities including roundtables, hikes, and potluck gatherings, up-to-date publications from our e-newsletter and legislative updates. And we went ahead and paid last year. It was held at Pembroke Academy.
And last year was on a Saturday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the first Saturday.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought that's what it said on
I'll
November
find the
2nd.
date.
Okay. What does it say there?
Well, this is.
Last year.
Okay, Saturday, November 3rd, 2018. So they do have.
Okay, so it is Saturday.
That's
Okay,
at
good.
Pembroke Academy.
Okay,
Is it Pembroke Academy again?
yep, which is 9¾
Do so.
Yeah.
It's outside of Concord.
outside of Concord. Okay. The only other thing I have is coming up soon. So I plan to bring a list of all of the places in town, all of the conservation properties that we will need to start scheduling to have our annual monitoring visits. Traditionally, the season of monitoring visits for us does tend to be later fall, early winter. It's always better, less bugs, it just works out better, especially with some of the wetter areas. It's usually a little drier or frozen in that time period, so it does make it a lot easier. So what I thought I'd do is bring that list and we can start looking at it, because we probably should start divvying up things that we need to review. And we can certainly partner up. Drew knows every property pretty well. Andrea also knows a lot of the properties. So like if you haven't done it before, you can partner up with somebody.
That's not a list of the
Yeah.
places. It's a list of our to-do list all year.
Oh, right. So, yeah, so the list is Silverman Shear, Casa Boiselle, Wigan Farm, New Roots Farm, Audubon Smith Sisters. Those are the ones that we need to,
I'll attach that to the list.
yeah, those are the neat ones that we need to look at. Thanks.
Drew usually has like a with,
Yep.
how those is the map accessible for all of us? How do we do that?
I can certainly print some maps that we could look at. I got access to the UNH Granite map system, which is really good. You can access it. The only thing I will say is it takes a while to load because it's got a lot of layers. But what's great about it is it does show every single kind of property and public property lines that you can imagine. So in other words, you can see the property lots for all the abutters to the conservation line land. You can see, you can put wetlands on there. You can do all kinds of different layers on these maps so that, and then we can print some out and bring them. But it definitely helps. And you can do a satellite map, or you can do just a drawn map. It gives you a lot of options. So they did a workshop on that system a couple of years ago, and I went. If they do it again, I'll let you guys know, because it's definitely a great resource. Even just for looking at Newmarket, it's a great way to look at all the different lands, because we don't necessarily, we go to those properties, but there are a lot of other lands in Newmarket that you may or may not realize that have conservation easements on them, that we don't necessarily have to monitor because it's not part of the, it's not part of our management plan, but we should be aware of them at least. We just had one done the other day on the foul zone property, so I was kind of not aware of that exactly either, so that's why it's helpful to have that. I'll bring that so you guys can see that next time.
On here it mentions burning, did we make any piles during the serve delivery? that
We
could
did.
burn?
Those piles though, really couldn't be burned until later in the year. We were thinking they would be burned just like once there's some snow maybe on the ground, because we wouldn't want to, they're in the middle of the fields. Yeah. But the tricky part is that if sometimes we get too much snow, then the snow is piled on top of your pile. So, but that is a good reminder about Wigan Farm. We have to make sure that that mowing does not happen until later this year. So I might just follow up again with Steve on that.
Maybe we request the end of the beginning or the end of.
I think we said the end of October because it keeps getting pushed out later and later.
I think we originally, I know we originally said something like first week in October, and then we moved it to the second week. I'd have to go back and look. I've got it somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta make it a point to go out there and look, because I kind of missed that time last year when, and apparently there was just a lot of monarchs out there, so kind of cool to go out there. Okay. I think that's it then. Unless there's anything else. Motion to adjourn? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I second that motion. All right, thanks.